No camera, no crowd, no witness. Just a bar and me. No camera, no crowd, no witness. Just a bar and me. Nobody's waiting to rep at 5 a.m. Push it. No highlight reel, no applause, no dim. Just me and the weight and the choice to try. That's where the actual answer lies. Dig deeper. Not in the moment everybody sees. In the empty room on my knees. Getting up anyway, no one to prove it to. That's the version of me that's actually true. Everybody performs when the lights come on. I built mine in the dark alone. Withdrawn from an audience, from a reason to fake it. Just me and the rep, and whether I'll take it seriously when nobody's gonna know. Whether I cut the set short or let it go full. That's the actual test of who I am. Not the version performing, not the man in the cam. Show me. Prove it to who? There's no one in this room. Just the bar, the weight, the silence, and the doom of knowing I could cut a corner, no one's checking. That's exactly where my character's directed. Every single choice I make unwitnessed builds the actual man beneath the fitness. I don't train for cameras, don't train for eyes. I train for the version of me that never lies. Last set, last rep, nobody's counting but me. No witness required for what I need to see about myself, about the standard I hold when nobody's watching, when the story's not told to anyone. That's the actual proof, not the performance, not the visible truth. The unwitnessed rep is worth more than the scene. That's where the actual discipline convenes. I don't need the audience to validate the grind. The version of me built when nobody's assigned. A watch to check to hold me accountable is the version that's actually formidable. Everybody's growing, someone's keeping score. I wanna know who I am behind the door that nobody opens, that nobody sees. That's the actual man, not the one for the TV. What I do when nobody's checking is the truth, not the performance, not the visible proof. Every unwitnessed rep built what you see now. Every empty room taught me exactly how to be the same man with or without a crowd. That's the standard, silent and never loud. Nobody handed me this, nobody watched it grow. The unwitnessed work is the only truth I know. Who were you when nobody was watching? Anybody can sprint the first mile. Race is what you say for the last. Yo. Everybody burns hot at the start, that's not impressive to me. The ones who spend it all early are the ones I'm gonna see. Full somewhere in the middle when the account runs dry. I don't chase the fastest opening, I chase knowing why. Every ounce of energy's a currency I track. I don't spend it on the applause of an early attack. I spend it on the finish, on the version built to last. Pace isn't about the moment, pace is about the math. I watch the ones around me burning everything they've got in the first quarter. They're feeling powerful, feeling hot. I know exactly what's coming when that account depletes. I plan my output before I ever lace my feet. This isn't about holding back, gotta fear a doubt. It's about engineering exactly how the reserve plays out across the whole distance, not just the part that people see. Discipline and pacing is the actual victory. The line! The line! Cost of every surge, I'm tempted by every gear I could've lost. Control over, I don't ignore the reserve. I'm building toward the final stretch where everybody else's tank is poured out completely empty, desperate, reaching for a gear that they spent already. Somewhere back, somewhere near the start line, feeling powerful, feeling unaware that the actual race was always in the ration, in the care. This is where the ration reserve finally gets spent, not by accident, by calculation, by intent. Everything I saved is available right now. While the ones who spend it early figure out somehow to finish your tunes, I finish on a plan, executed right. Patience and weakness, pace is the actual fight. And this the instinct, telling burn it all up front. I save the fire for exactly when I need to run. Excellence isn't an act. It's an inspection. You run on yourself. Wait for a judge to walk into the room and grade. I already checked the work before the visit could be made. Every rep gets inspected by the only standard that's real. Mine held quiet, held constant. Whether or not I feel like being examined today, the standard doesn't move based on my mood, my energy. Whether I've got something to prove to an audience, I inspect my own output daily. Pass or fail, I know the answer. I don't need it stated for me. Nobody hands me a certificate for showing up and doing the work. I certify it myself in the mirror, and I don't shirk from the honest answer when the standard isn't met. I don't inflate the inspection just to lower my own debt. Every session gets the same exact scrutiny applied, whether it's public or private, whether the whole world's watching or nobody's tried to witness what I'm building. The inspection stays the same. That's the actual discipline underneath the name. That's the actual discipline underneath the name. Discipline underneath the name. Excellence isn't a crown that somebody puts on your head. It's a routine inspection, quiet discipline, well fed by consistency instead of ceremony, instead of the parade. I don't need the announcement, I need the standard made real every single day, through every single rep. Check, verified, certified against the debt I've kept with myself, not with anybody watching from the stands. My own inspection is the only verdict that demands. Last rap, run the exact inspection again. Did I meet the standard? Did I hold it or did I bend? Under the pressure, under the tired, under the excuse. That's the only question that inspection can't refuse. To answer honestly, I don't grade myself soft. I hold the line, I check the work, I never call it off. Really just because it's easier to round it up. The inspection's honest or the inspection's corrupt. One verified, two verified, three from every honest self-inspected day. Isn't a title, isn't a crown, isn't a role I play. It's the actual standard, held constant, held true. Nobody needs to witness it for the standard to come through. In everything I build, in everything I live, the inspection is the discipline, the inspection is the gift. I give myself daily check, verified, no excuse. My own standards, the only judgment that I choose. Inspected, verified, standard held. Almost didn't come today. Almost didn't come that day. Came anyway. Every excuse loaded up and ready to fire. Body dead, tired, mind wide to retire. Didn't feel the spark, showed up dark. No hype in my chest, just work to start. Discipline don't wait for feeling right. I move first, the feeling follows the fight. Everybody talks the good days loud and proud. Skip it, nobody talks to almost skip the silent crowd of days. I drag myself here anyway. That's the rep that actually made me. Not the pump, not the ready, not the hype. The drag and the doubt in the fighting through the type. I don't wait for fire, I show up. Dim motivations, a mood disciplines the hymn. I sing it every time it's hard. Real, not the easy, the almost. Skip, scar. Days that build what the good days never could. Proof carved deeper than motivation never stood. Last set, I still didn't wanna be here. Push came with will, not with hype, not with cheer. Just a choice against the voice saying stay. Anyway, got up, moved, chose the harder way. That's the rap, nobody claps for, nobody sees. That's the rap that built all of these. didn't came anyway. That's the actual sin. Nobody sees, nobody claps, nobody knows. Showed up anyway. That's how the whole thing grows. Showed up. Showed up. Showed up. They wanted to shit. I brought exactly what the fiber demands. Is a decision, not an accident. Explosive force don't happen. Loose explosive force gets sent on purpose through the exact sequence built to fire clean. I don't shake the tension, not I focus what it means. Kinetic isn't chaos, kinetic is controlled. Every single contraction is a story getting told about the discipline behind the violence of the strike. Explosive powers engineered, that's the actual might. Don't confuse aggression with a lack of actual aim. Every explosive rep is precision, wearing the same faces brutality, but underneath is calculated. Force output isn't range, force output's cultivated through repetition, through the nervous system, learning fast. How to fire every fiber the second that it says. I channel what looks primal through an exact design. That's the difference between violence and a line. To prove that every viber answer when the signal said now. I don't waste the energy on posturing on how it looks from the outside. I care about the actual transfer. Every explosive rep's a lesson, every set's a chapter in a book written about control, weaponized intent, not chaos, not raid, but force precisely spent. Last set, last rip, everything the fiber's built to give. This is where the sloppy power veils and precise power lives. I don't need the noise to prove the force I'm putting out. I need the actual number, I need the actual route. The energy to getting from the stillness to the strike. Explosive isn't loud, explosive is exactly right. Time sequence fight clean through every single phase. That's the actual brutality, not chaos, but the blaze. I don't need the crowd to witness how the fiber fires. The proof shows up in what the exact motion requires. A nervous system, muscle in the will that says explode. Every heavy set's a lesson in the actual code behind the violence everybody sees but doesn't understand. Force output the discipline out of lack of a plan. I channel what looks primal into something refined. That's the actual weapon, the precision, not the mind. What gets built from every explosive calculated rep isn't chaos, isn't rage. It's the discipline I've kept underneath the brutality that everybody sees. There's a system firing perfect, there's precision, there's degrees of control inside of violence. That's the actual craft. Force output isn't given, force output's built, not a gift I've grasped. By accident I engineered, rep by design. Kinetic brutality, precision drawn in a straight line. They wanted a show. This was never a performance. The lab is open. Check your pulse. The lab is open. Check your pulse. I don't wait for the mood to arrive before I start the dose. I control the exact input, I'm the one who's close enough to the actual mechanism to decide the time and right. Every rep's a measure variable, not a random fight. The receptor doesn't care about the story that I tell. It just answers to the exact stimulus. I compel myself to deliver or schedule on demand. I'm not hoping for the reaction, I'm the one who planned. Everybody wants to hide without controlling the exact source. I want it engineered, deliver with full force. No randomness allowed in what I'm building, nothing left. The chance to move the weather, I woke up feeling deaf now. I don't chase the feeling like it's something rare to catch. I manufacture the conditions, I control the match between the stimulus I need and the exact response. Discipline's the actual lab, but I run it, I don't hesitate once. Last hit, last rip, right now, everything I got visual. Now last hit, last rip, right now, everything I got. Now last set, last rep, right now, everything I got. No accident of adrenaline, I built this on the spot. Through repetition, through the grind, and never quits. Every session's controlled chaos, every session hits harder than the one before it, that's the only law. I don't need a break in the output, I don't pause. I keep the pressure constant, keep the dose applied. Right now, this second, full throttle, full stride. This ain't a summary, this is happening right now. Based on rising every rep, I don't stop to think about every single reaction, learning real time on the spot. I don't reflect on what I built, I keep building what I got. Push the next rep, push the next set, push it harder still. No cool down, no wind down, just a discipline, a will. Full speed to the final second, full dose to the end. Control but never slower, that's the only trend. Critical running, no stop condition. They see the metal, they never see the folding. They see the metal. Yeah. Strength isn't a single strike, strength is 1,000 thin layers. Each one imperceptible alone, each one a prayer. Folded into the one before it, quiet, patient, slow. Nobody sees the individual fold, they just see what it becomes. I don't need one violent moment to prove that I can bend. I need the daily layer over and over without end. Each session adds a fold too thin to notice on its own, but stack enough of them together and the steel is grown. Everybody wants a single dramatic hit that changes it all. I trust the boring folder, one that doesn't get the star. Applause or retention just adds itself into the mass of everything that came before and everything that'll pass through my hands tomorrow. Every rep another sheet, laminated onto the last one. No shortcut, no retreat. From the patience, the process actually demands. Strength isn't struck once, strength is folded by these hands. I don't bend and stay bent, I don't snap under the weight. I fold and I return, I fold and I don't break. That's the actual property that makes the difference clear between the brittle version and the one that's built to steer. Through pressure without shattering, through difficulty without a crack. Every fold reversible, every fold I can bring back to center the baseline, to ready for the next. That's the actual engineering underneath the text. Last set, last rep, one more fold onto the pile. Nobody's counting the individual fold, they counting the while. It took to build a version standing here today. I don't rush the lamination just to speed up the display of finished strength. I trust the process, trust the layer, trust the daily fold that nobody claps for, nobody's a player. In the actual mechanism, they just see the steel. I know exactly what got folded to make it real. Fold 64. Fold 32! Fold 1! What holds under pressure isn't the fold that happened last. It's every single one that came before it from the past. Compounded layer, patient, refusing to be rushed. That's the actual difference between forged and crushed. I don't fear the pressure, testing what I built to hold. Every fold I've added makes the whole thing harder, bolder. Not because of one dramatic moment, one single strike, but because I folded daily and I folded it right. Folded, not strapped. That's what holds. Blueprints. Yeah. Blueprints are finished. Now we test the load. Every bone under this bar is bearing the calculated weight. Tendon and tissue built to hold what the average frame can't take. I don't just move the load, I become the structure under it. Every session test the integrity, test if it'll fit. The exact demand I'm placing on the doesn't lie about the low bone, just returns to dust or gets dense and gets stronger, adapts to what I bring. Every heavy reps in engineering test on everything. I don't test the limit, hoping that it holds by luck. I tested delivery control, load after load, stuck to the exact protocol that builds the frame instead of breaks. The difference between injury and growth is what it takes to respect the yield point, not ignore it, not deny the signal that the structure sends before it starts to cry. Out under pressure, I don't chase the number blind, I chase the exact edge where the structure's redesigned. Loaded! Every joint's a hinge that's rated for a certain kind of stress. I don't exceed it recklessly, I build toward it, I progress toward the actual capacity instead of guessing blind. Structural integrity's a discipline, not a state of mind that shows up once and disappears the second that is tested. I earn the density and bone the way your bridge gets crested. With steel reinforced, slowly low by measured load. That's the actual architecture underneath the code. Last rep, testing everything the frame can bear. This is where the structure proves it's built with proper care. I don't rush the loading pattern just to hit a bigger sum. I respect the exact sequence till the density has come into the marrow, into the fiber, into what I stand upon. Every heavy session's another certification drawn on the actual capacity that I have engineered, not by accident, by discipline, by every rep revered. What holds me up isn't just muscle showing on the frame, it's the bone and tendon underneath that answers to the same discipline that builds the visible structural load bearing truth. Every rep's a certification, every set's the proof. I don't fear the weight, I calibrate exactly what it tests. Building density where the average frame just rests. Comfortable and tested, never push to find a yield. I test mine on purpose. That's the actual feel. Low tested structure holds. Everybody trains to rise. Yeah. Nobody trains to stay. I don't guard what I haven't built, I guard what's already earned. The hardest discipline is in climbing, is making sure it's learned. Permanent, not temporary, not a peak I visit once. Every session I show up is a watch, I stand a stunt. Nobody, I don't let comfort creeping through the crack. That complacency leaves open when the guard starts to slack. I built this over years of showing up, I don't relax until the version's soft enough to let the standard laugh. Everybody celebrates the building, nobody claps to maintain the unglamorous discipline of staying again and again at the level that took years to reach, refusing to decline. That comfort always offers once you cross the finish line. I don't treat a rival like an ending, like a final stop. I treat it like the start of the actual watch, the actual top of the mountain being the easiest part to lose your grip. Vigilance is the skill that keeps you standing on the tip. I've seen the ones who build it fast and let it fade. Just as quickness took the summit for the finish. Didn't see the actual trick is staying there, defending it, refusing to grow soft. Once the applause dies down and nobody's watching from aloft, I don't need an audience to keep the standard held. I keep it cause I built it and I won't watch it dispelled. I come from by the very success that got me here to watch never ends, just because the danger's not as clear. Last set, last rip, the watch continues past the win. I don't stand down the second that the hard part settles. In complacency's the actual enemy after the climb. Not another mountain, just the erosion over time. Upstanders, nobody's checking the discipline, gone quiet. I refuse to let success become the reason that I rioted. This my own foundation, I maintain what I built. The watch is never over, that's the discipline, not the guilt. Every rep I still put in after arriving is the proof that the guard never sleeps, that the watch stays on the roof of everything I build, protecting it from the erosion that comfort brings the skies. There's a well-earned devotion. The rest I rest, but I don't let the standard drop. I don't confuse recovery with letting the guard stop. Watching what I built, that's the actual permanent job. Long after the applause is faded, long after the throb of the climb settled into something calm and one. Hour 1, watching hour 12. Watching, still watching. The gap between deciding. And doing everything just collapsed to nothing. I don't think it in the move, the thinking in the moving fuse. Instinct trains so deep it skips the step most people use to calculate, hesitate before they take the shot. By the time they process it, I've already been in fight. This ain't magic, this ain't supernatural, it's just repetition. 10,000 reps collapse the gap, that's the actual mission. I don't wait for confidence to catch up to the plan and the execution happen faster than I can. Everybody's got a half-second lag between the thought and the fact. I trained mind down to nothing, trained until it was compact enough, very invisible enough to feel like instinct. But it's not instinct, given it's a pattern that I link. Rep after rep after rep until the body just knows. Before the mind finishes forming the settings, it goes straight to execution. No, you didn't put in my head debating, just a train response arriving, no delay, no waiting. About the form before they start. I've drilled the form so deep it's woven into how I'm charged. No processing delay between the signal and the strike. That's not talent, that's 10,000 reps done right. Consistent, boring, unglamorous, day after day, until the gap between deciding and doing wore away completely. And what's left, just like it's supernatural, it's just automaticity, it's just repetition, factual. Last rep, everything trained to fire clean. No hesitation in the system, nothing left in between. The decision and the action, they derive as one event, not two separate moments. That's the actual intent behind every session, drilling the exact same thing until the latency collapses, until the movement's a single string. Connected seamless faster than the doubt can load. That's the actual quantum leap, not magic, just a roll. Call it something otherworldly. I know exactly what it took to build it, know it clearly. Every boring session when nobody was impressed, compressed the gap a little more, brought me closer to the test. What speed was supernatural, but the actual source is grind. Repetition is the only thing that ever changed my mind about what's possible when hesitation disappears. Zero latency isn't a gift, it's built across the years. What looks instant to the room took years to actually build. Every rep collapse a gap a little till it's filled with nothing but the train response, no room for the delay. That's the actual system, that's the actual way. Spring is built, not given, not some supernatural spark. It's repetition in the light and repetition in the dark, until the decision and the action fuse into one. Zero latency achieved, and the work is never done. Latency. Trained. Rough. Doesn't happen in the rep. It happens. And what comes after? Everybody worships the effort, worships the exact strength. You understand the actual builder lives inside the men. That happens after in the quiet, in the tissue, knitting back stronger than it started. That's the actual honest track. I don't get stronger from the damage, I get stronger from the fix. The body doesn't grow while breaking, growth is what it picks up after. We're deliberate when the rebuilding starts. That's the actual factory, that's where the strength imparts. I used to think the workout was the entire whole event. Now I know it's just a signal, just a message sent to a system waiting patient to renew what got torn down. The rebuilding is where the actual muscle gets its crown. Not from the tearing, from the mending, from the careful restore. That happens while I'm resting, while I'm not asking for more. I respect them in the way I respect the actual grind. Growth lives in the quiet rebuild, not the loud design. window to repair. I don't rush the process just because I want it there. Faster, I respect the actual biology at play. The rebuild takes exactly what it takes, not a single day. Lest I don't sabotage the men by refusing it. The time, that's the attribute. Discipline, patience is the rhyme. With effort, both require neither one enough alone. The tearing and the mending is the actual honest zone. What I built isn't only the damage I've endured, it's the careful, patient rebuild that the damage procured. For me, through respecting the exact window it takes to mend completely, to restore what the after breaks. I don't fear the tearing down, I trust what happens after. The rebuild is where I find the strength, not just the laughter of finishing a hard set. That's just the invitation. The actual growth arrives during the restoration.
Tissue. Torn response. Initiated rebuild. In progress. Stronger.
Damage confirmed. Rebuild complete. Blast punch, full speed now. No build up, no delay. No delay. There's a quiet voice that speaks of birth, tells you you're built for more than less worth, more than dormant in your own chest. Most hear it once, then let it rest. I heard it louder in ordinary days. It told me more than what they say. I was capable more than I believe. Greatness doesn't shout, it speaks to be received.
Answering the call took more than calm. Leaving stayed behind was its own kind of storm. Fear came with me, but I stayed strong. I chose the voice that was in me all along. I answered the call. I answered the call. I chose the hard road. I chose it all. I answered the call. I answered the call.
Greatness was waiting. Turn that whisper into something I could build. Every single day, a canvas to be filled. Evidence, I heard it and I moved.
Not just believed it, I proved and proved.
Hands to the work, feet to the ground. Will to the call, I kept moving now. Greatness never reward the ones who only talk.
It lifts the ones who make the whisper walk. Answering the call, built my courage up. Every hard step was enough. The easier road kept saying stay. I chose the voice and I went that way. I answered the call. I answered the call.
I chose the hard road.
I chose it all. I answered the call. I answered the call.
Greatness was waiting. To shake my name, every season low, tried to dim that flame, but persistence stayed. When the view went thin, it really got,
and it pulled me in.
Every rep confirmed what I heard was true. Every hard step was a breakthrough. The doubt, the comfort, the smaller dream,
I left it behind to become